Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Lou and you're listening to the Hera Hotspot podcast. In this week's episode, June Barclay and I are talking about guides, with June channeling Shekinah, who has been with June since Stuart died, but she's only recently been able to name her. Over the years she has worked, June has raised her vibration and lightened her energy, enabling more spirits to be able to work through her. We understand there are more guides waiting to come through, each with the ability of working on different illnesses. We all have guides, but light workers, whose frequency is higher, appear to have more in order to do their work, which is also true for those who have done more soul growth, which is the reason we are here. We were told that the room was full of trainee guides, who are drawn by our energy and conversation. It is like an apprenticeship for them, as the work we do is important and they find it fascinating, educational and useful. We both found this recording to be powerful and humbling, that we are able to help the collective in this way, and grateful that we have gained such insights. I hope you enjoy it. So,
what are we going to talk about?
Guides.
Okay. Who's here? Okay. Mary's here. Mary's the nurse. It's Dr. B here. Dr. B's here. And he's the psychic surgeon. And we've got Dr. John. Now, I'm not sure what he is.
He was a military surgeon.
Oh, right. Okay.
Remember? In the past life.
Yeah.
But he doesn't come to you as a psychic surgeon, but he comes to you for the healing.
That's right. Yeah. He's a military surgeon. That's right, he was, wasn't
he? In the
he?
1800s.
Yes.
Tall and thin with a top hat.
Yes, he was. I can see him now.
So all those work with you when you're doing healing?
Yeah. And then we have Shekinah. Unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance to the sacred rhythm of life. Sacred self. The Shekinah is the twin flame of the Holy Spirit. Is the female aspect of the God particle or creation energy. She is more of an essence than a being, but has the ability to show herself in ways that we will understand. She is acknowledged in the sacred teachings of Judaism and also called the Sophia of Christ in the Gnostic Gospels. She is a powerful female voice of spirit who is here to bring about equality and to help the world move on from the male-only image of God. She reminds us that God is all-loving and all-accepting. Whenever she appears in a reading, she points out the change-makers, the love creators, the gift-sharers of the world, who are here to unite all hearts around the world. And the message on here is, don't feel the need to hold back or dampen your spirit. This is a time to celebrate. There is a feeling of dance and joy around you at this time as you fully recognise your splendour. You are a sacred being who defies gravity every day just by being alive and brings a sense of balance and equality to the world. Oh, there you go. That's
so when you channeled her the other day,
yeah,
because you only realised who it was when you were told by Tracy, Shekinah had been saying that actually nothing's changed. Her exact words, what you don't realise is that my wings have been wrapped around you many times. It is only now, because you've asked, that you know who we are. So how long do you think she's been with you?
Since birth.
No.
10 years old. When Stuart died.
Okay.
So that's 28 years. I just heard we joined forces when Stuart died.
And one presumes that she's been supporting you in the work that the journey you've done and the work you've done since.
Yeah. So was she there the day Stuart died? I had that feeling she was there in the house. Okay. Which was really strange at the time. There was a real peace came over that house. And Stuart died. It it wasn't normal to feel that peace like that. She just said to me, she gave me the dove of peace that day. So that was the Thursday. He died on the Wednesday, so that would have been the Thursday. How interesting is that? Is that what you just said to me? You gave me the dove of peace.
Mm.
And what? Look at that picture.
Mm.
See the dove in those flowers?
Mm.
I took that down so many times, that picture, and it's ended up going back up. And when she came to me the other day in meditation, it was doing that.
Yeah.
It was flying backwards.
Mm.
Interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
I kept thinking, was that picture up there than the dove? But it goes back. We'll take it all down. Oops, there it goes again. How interesting is that? So the dove, that's what the dove, for her, well, she's got a picture of a dove.
So I suppose my question would be, because you channel the angels, and in meditation you channel the angels, and as far as I know, you've never channeled Shekinah in a meditation. No. Again, we've kind of done ascended masters and we've done guardian angels, and I suppose this is the next understanding, is of guides, which we haven't really,
never looked
we've
at.
always talked about.
Yeah.
Well, if your guardian angel is always there for you, or if you need to cut the cord, you go to Archangel Michael. If you need healing, you go to Archangel Raphael. And, we've done the cards that have had Shekinah or Kuan Yin or Krishna or El Moraya, all of who are ascended masters.
Yeah.
And actually Shekinah is from that pack as well.
Yeah.
Which are the keepers of the light.
So she must be an ascended master.
Well, but Shekinah is Sophia, she's Lady Nada, she's Mary Magdalene, she's all of those are part of the Sophia, aren't they? That's all part of the divine feminine.
Mary. Yeah.
It's just a different vibration with each of them.
There is. It must be, because when I get the angels now, although maybe one of them is a little bit more prominent at the time, I do see them as a collective.
Mm. We had this conversation the other day about the collective message, and we were talking about the collective, and I put it that it was like, in modern speak, it was like the corporate message.
Yes.
The collective is like the corporate message. They're all speaking for and from source, but the difference is that vibrationally they all have a different energy.
Yes.
But they speak for the collective.
Yes. So maybe that's...
So again, the energy of Mary Magdalene, Lady Nada and Sophia, and it all comes from Shekinah.
Yeah. Yeah. If she's the Sophia, I'd say that.
And if they're vibrating differently, I suppose it's just a matter of a lighter or denser or form or...
Yeah. I do think they come as a collective. And especially now, the divine feminine, because that's what we're working with.
Mm. So you call the angels in for meditations.
Well,
we have our guardian angels. So the guides, how do they work differently? Because you can't channel, from when we were chatting the other day and you were dousing Mary, she was talking to us about Dr. B and Dr. John. You can't channel them. They're people that have walked the earth previously, who have come back to help you with your healing.
Yeah.
And who are, so they're guides, they're guiding your work.
Yeah. I've seen Dr. B. I've seen him before, but I don't see him much anymore. I just thought that was because they come and go as guides. Mm. But I'm obviously wrong with that one.
But what Dr. I can't remember if it was Dr. B or Dr. John said, that they need you to be working in order to work.
Yeah. That
you're a conduit for their energy.
Yeah. That's right.
So they're a guide as well as they need you as much as you need them.
Yeah. And that's the same with the angels, with our energy.
Mm.
They need our energy, as they told us. to go off and do something with it. Even if it's, maybe our energy goes out and they can take it further. That's the way I see that. And because they've come back to help with the healing, they want more people healed, obviously, don't they? That's probably been part, but we probably all have, it's like a contract. You come back here to do this job, and maybe before you come back, the doctors who did walk the earth plane make that contract to work with you when you do the healing. They must be assigned to work with us.
So I'm just looking at that quote from your channeling of Shekinah the other day. This is all about making Earth a better place.
Yes, that's what I keep feeling. Now everybody's got to step up to the plate now, because it feels like it's sinking. The world's sinking under all the grief and the fear and all that. Nobody gives us good news, do they? If you listen to the media, read the
Well, we seem to thrive on it. That's what sells papers.
They thrive on the fear of keeping us in the fear. Well, the rising up has to be from the feminine, because it is the time of the feminine, isn't it? And what do we do best, the feminine? We nurture. We love unconditionally. I'd say the best part of us, if we've had kids, that's what we do. So we would be connected far more to the well-being of the world and the earth and other people than, I can't say all men, but a lot of men. Men are very tunnel visioned, go to work, get the money, put the food on the table, or it's all about them. There's, men can't breed children, so there's that side to it as well. We're the ones that carry on that lineage, if you like. I don't know why I'm saying all this. It must be them. I feel like I'm rambling. So it is time of the divine feminine, and maybe they've been around forever anyway, but they've stepped up to the plate like we have.
Maybe I was thinking about, well, why do they need us? Why don't the Dr. Johns or the Marys or the Shekinahs of spirit just do it? But actually, we know that we're a dense energy, and we know that they're not. In order to come into our space, they need to kind of transition their much higher vibration, Shekinah being almost the highest vibration there is. She needs to assimilate through our energy or your energy in order to affect our world. Because it's so easy to think that
they could do it without us.
Well, yes, but also, well, we're the only planet, or we're the only planet, and this superiority complex we have. But in the universe, we're such a tiny part, and we know so little, and it's another subject we're going to explore, of planets and astrology. So you take away that arrogance. We need them. They need us to work, and we need them. So in order for us, and obviously one presumes that if you're, let's pick two extreme examples. If you're sitting at home, angry, grumpy, hating the world, hating people, filling yourself full of bad food, watching bad TV, and just being a general Scrooge, they can't work through that.
No.
They need us to be as light as possible in thought and outlook, and one presumes food, and as they said the other day, to tread lightly on the earth in order to make their job easier.
Yeah. They can't, it is very difficult for them to come through that dark energy. Because that is dense. That's what it is, right. It's dense, not just dark, it's dense. Because the energy of the earth plane is so different. And it's like when spirit does turn up, I mean, say your mum or your dad or your aunt or your uncle, they have had such a job to get through that when they do turn up, thank goodness there's spirit people like me that can actually see them or talk to them, because that journey for them would have been horrendous to get here. they don't just click their fingers and turn up. Like I ask my guides or whoever wants to answer me, they are obviously able to cope with the dense energy, but ordinary spirit can't. So, shall we ask? Is that right? Yes. Yes. Ring the bell. So the difference between Shekinah and Mary and Dr. B must be massive. But they are all labelled as guides. And as far as I'm concerned, you are all new to me, even if you've worked with me.
And according to Vic, you have a lot more waiting to come in. I think that's really swinging. So I wonder why, when Shekinah is pretty high in vibration, to put it mildly, what the others are here to do.
Can we know what the others coming in are, what they're going to do?
Yes.
Are they more doctors?
It sounds like you've got a lot. Do different energies, do different guides come through for different clients of yours?
I bet. And I just got different illnesses.
Okay.
So are they for different people for different reasons for healing?
So if someone came with depression, or someone came with ME, or they have different skill sets, because I presume that as an illness that has a very different energy from an emotional or a mental well-being to either cancer or a blood disorder or
So will you be able to cover the full range of emotional and physical illnesses? Is this just about the healing? No. Is this to do with the meditation group too? That's a yes. So will we get different guides for different reasons?
And do you need to know who they are?
No. Look at that. No.
In that, I'm doing that for you, that you don't have to worry, they just let them get on with it.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's a yes. A bit like before I asked before, isn't it? I just did it anyway. Is that the build-up of light over the years of working?
And one presumes that has made, so we were saying earlier about humans being dense, that your work over the years, so vibrationally, you've kind of got cleaner and cleaner and higher and higher. So the higher you get, the more they can come. So that's been your life's work, is getting rid of ego and that Billy bullshitter narrative and trauma, and in order to make you vibrationally as pure as possible so they can work.
Yeah, I expect that's what it is, because I've worked at it now since Stuart, properly for the last 28 years. And I just got it was your destiny anyway, so they already know, don't they, before you come, that that's the job they want you to do. So, because when I went to the psychic church to be a medium, and that's all I wanted to do, is be a medium, to give the message for other people. And every time I've got shut down in flames. You're not a medium, you're a healer. It was a shock to me that they kept saying that. And that's what sent me off looking down that alleyway. Because I thought, this is incredible. Every single one of them, that's all they said to me. Not a medium. Although you can do it, you are a healer. And that's what you've got to go and look for to do the healing.
So these guides guide your work. Because I'm trying to find that, I don't know why, I'm trying to find that differentiation between Ascended Master, Angel, Guardian Angel. So all the ones that you don't channel, they're just guiding the work you do in your healing. They're not necessarily guiding you as an individual, because you have free will.
They're guiding what happens in here with the person. And most people do feel it, to be honest. And I've always thought, because that picture up there with all those beings is what Wendy saw when I did the healing. So for me, that sort of made sense.
So if we make it more general, I'm just trying to think if we need to cover you any more for your guides.
Oh dear. They're making the energy really heavy, aren't they? That's really heavy now.
So I was exploring my guides the other day and trying to connect and asking them each to let themselves be known different ways, and there were sensations, physical sensations I felt for each one. So each one had a different way of letting me know they were there, which you kind of get as well. So, and if I have them, then in theory we all have them.
Yeah.
We don't just have guardian angels. We all have guides, but then we don't. But does that mean because of the job I do, I have them? Is it just light workers that have them, or do you think anyone has them?
Let's ask. Does everybody have more than one guide? I say yes. Even if they don't, say they don't work in the spiritual world, do they have more than one guide? And that's a yes. So we get more guides if we work in the spiritual world, because we do that type of work.
And is that because our vibration is lighter, our frequency is lighter?
Is that the reason?
Because we've done the work.
Yeah. And that's a yes from spirit.
So if we're working on the premise that when you're working, your guides are working through you, for someone who isn't a light worker but still has a guide, what do they do?
Can you tell us? Okay. Listen.
For kind of an everyday Joe.
Okay, the analogy they just gave me was when things get really tough in your world and you haven't connected to anything spiritual, and you get down on your knees and you cry out for help, that's when they step into that space. So the guardian angel will always be there because they come with you, but go on when you die. But the new guides that step up are the ones that try desperately to guide you to a better place. But you have to be the one that feels that despair, that amount of despair, and call out for the help, for you to even notice them.
So is that the only way they can come in? Is when you're on your knees?
When you're so low.
What about people who don't feel that?
Well, then they don't know that they've got guides.
Or they don't need them?
Oh, they probably need them.
But what if there are some people who, I don't know, karmically have a life that's pretty unchallenging?
Yeah. Mostly that's just also. I've always been told they were new souls to the earth.
The ones with the unchallenging lives? Well, that's interesting. Why?
Yeah, new soul.
Break them in gently.
Yeah.
Before the shit hits the fan. All right then.
Yeah, the tougher the life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the amount of more times you've been in.
Not sure if that is any consolation.
No, it isn't. But
You've got a really shitty life, so it's okay, you've been here loads. Oh, that's all right then.
But it means your soul growth is immense.
Okay.
Because we are only here on earth for soul growth. It's not the materialistic house, the car we drive. Apparently, that's what it is. It's about you come to earth. You've got free will. You're given a guide and a guardian angel, and it's up to you if you make use of any of that. It's entirely up to you, because the thing we all come back to earth for is the free will, until the shit hits the fan, and then we're on our knees calling out for help.
And that can be, it's not necessarily, or we've kind of touched this before when we've done light workers. That's not necessarily going, well, I've got a guardian angel and a guide, so hence I should go and be a healer. That can just be going to do a job that you're really good at.
Yeah.
That you're supporting the people around you, or to look after your dying mother, or to have children, or to be a teacher, or
anything.
It's kind of doing your calling, because everyone's got different strengths.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're a nurse, I should imagine, you would have more than one guide because you've got a lot of roles to fulfil.
Mm.
You know, I think when I think about old-fashioned nurses, how caring they used to be, you can just see they were called angels, weren't they?
Mm.
Because they were really in touch with their emotions, and they were empaths.
Mm. Mm.
They had to be. I'm not sure about today's nurses. I'm sure
A different environment, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure there are there, but it was definitely a calling.
Mm.
When I was younger, people that were nurses was definitely called. So they would have already been in tune, or maybe listening on a degree, on a level.
And so your guides are a mix of what I would call spirit, i.e. people who've walked the earth before, and of source energy.
Mm.
So, and when I was tapping into my guides the other day, I had a mix of spirit and ancestral energy, spirit, ancestral, an angel, and an ascended master. So a right old mix. In that,
maybe you need that mix though.
yeah, but in that, for people, it's not always going to be source energy or spirit. It can be what you need at the time.
It's entirely.
And we haven't really looked into, I know we looked into one that said he was dropping in and out, but I have not looked into how long I've had them or how long I'm going to have them. So whereas Guardian Angel is with you for life, well, I know that Lady Nada came through when I did the Anusha, which was 3 years ago. I don't know, look at my certificate. 3 odd years ago. And it'd be interesting to know if I've had any of the others for longer. I suppose the more I've done the work, and I know that the 2 biggies have come in really in the last 2 months, and I've done a lot of work in the last 2 months. Yeah. So that's interesting, isn't it? That it's the more work I've done, the more I've got.
And that makes sense, because if you're, it's like, you know, that phrase I keep giving me, stepping up to the plate. You've stepped up to the plate, you took over the book, and from the taking over the book, all this other stuff has come out of that. So,
of course, it's been a journey and a half.
And on that journey, the guys that were probably waiting along the roadside, you've got to give it some sort of earthly look. If they were waiting, like waiting for a bus to come along, they're going to step on your path because you've completed that part of your journey.
And really, prior to this, I was thinking the other day of almost thanking my ex-business partner who created such stress last year. We're going, actually, thank you, because without doing that, I wouldn't have gone on this path. And I've been so busy for so long, not only being a mother for 22 years, but being an entrepreneur for 10. Although I've dipped in and out with meditation, I've never sat for so long on my spiritual journey. And that's kind of a very large part of my life now. So the more I've done that, the more boom, 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 they drop in.
Yeah.
And it is, and
that goes back to this reading, doesn't it?
The oracle card read is done for the group.
Yes, it goes back to that reading. When you was emotional about letting go of that business, you didn't see that you'd be walking in the beauty.
No. And it was very, a lot of ego in it, a lot of hurt, a lot of disappointment. There was a lot of me in that.
Yeah.
And there have been times, not in that, but with money or house moves and stuff, when I've gone, I'm going to hand this over. Where I could have attached ego and fear and worry, and I haven't. I've handed it over, and actually that's when I felt the support of spirit to help me through it.
That kind of fear.
Yeah.
And this
very different feeling.
This is what you've got out of it. That emerald crystal glowing with those colours. All of those colours now, you've got them. And if I was you, I would thank her. Because that's the Buddhist way. You know, if somebody does you an injustice, you thank them because you know that they have played their part in getting you to the place where you're meant to be.
But it's about, for all of us, to different degrees, depending on what we're doing, it's about quietening our lives or making enough time in our lives, because you can still have a busy life and family and commitments, but it's making the time in order to feel the stillness, in order to have that conversation, in order to vibrate whatever frequency it needs to be, in order for that help to come. That they know where they're going to come. Be
interesting if we got Nola around, because I'd like to know what that frequency is that you vibrate on.
Or is it, do you think, a single frequency, or do you think it's on the frequency of the guides? Because the more, the work you've done and the energy shifts you've had particularly in the last 2 years, because you've been forced to stop. What am I trying to say?
I know what you're saying. My energy had to shift a bit more. Dr. B was with me, I know he was, but if the temple, I didn't have the temple path, we had that as a group. And that had to be bigger than sitting in this room. So that had to change, which was this made that change. Apart from COVID, I suppose. But it was going to change anyway. There had to be a time, because you can't keep being told it's got to get bigger and not do anything about it. So in a way, if you look at this, and I know this is another analogy of it, you stepped up into that place now, almost to be another guide. Because I didn't put that on the Zoom.
Well, I see myself as a facilitator.
Yeah, but you're also a guide, because you've guided me right through part of the book, doing this, all the things we do, the Zoom. I wouldn't have probably gone that far. I was doing the table and reaching people that way, wasn't I? It was that next step. So it's almost like, because you do get earthly guides. It's true, you do get them. Got your sights set on the goal, which I don't have. For me, the goal for me is doing the work I do, doing it to the best I can do it, and doing the healing to the best I can do it. My goal wasn't for looking outside of the box.
I think all I feel I've done is lay a road or highlight a road that you can take.
Yeah.
You've still had to get on it.
Yeah.
And I've always ever wanted to enable you to just do your work, and I look after everything else. Yeah. I look after the traffic lights and everything else, and just put you on the road and let you do your thing.
Yeah.
So you're not distracted by all the humdrum and the boring detail.
So that is being a guide.
Okay.
And that's what I'm being given by Spirit. Is that the right analogy?
Okay. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can look at that in another way now with guides. The people that come into your life, they've agreed to play that part.
Almost like my ex-business partner.
Yeah, exactly. And the people you have the toughest times with are your biggest teachers.
It's almost like a blockade in the road. You're going, no, I want to go down that road. And they're going, no, I'm blocking that road.
Yeah.
And you're furious and cross and frustrated and hurt. But actually, when you take that different path, because you've had to, actually, look where it's led me.
Yeah. So she's done her job completely. She'll get a pat on the back for that.
Don't tell me that a year ago. I thought you were mad.
But it's true. I mean, I've got lots of examples like that in my life. Loads of them.
I think we all have, don't we?
Yeah. And who'd have thought I would move away from everybody I knew to live in Devon, in the back of beyond.
And I think that ties into something I'm sure we've said time and time again. For you, it's that knowing, but it's having that quietness and taking your ego out enough that you actually listen. It's like what Carolyn was saying, now we know she's moved abroad. The times that she hasn't listened and she's ploughed ahead thinking that she kind of knows better or that's what she wants to do, that's when it's bitten her in the bum and it's gone wrong.
Yeah.
But she has openly admitted, or to you admitted, that when she's listened and gone with the flow, then that's when
it all works.
Yeah.
And there's been so many times.
It's that trust, isn't it?
It is that trust, yeah. And it's
getting out of our own way.
The people that step on your path at that time, and they only need to give you those few words. And you know it's right. You really know.
And it doesn't take, you're right, it doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't.
Sometimes it can be. We can all think of that everything that's happened comes from a single idea. Edison, I'm going to invent something, or I'm going to people who start charities or open businesses or decide to take a holiday. It takes one idea of, I quite fancy doing, or I feel a drive to then for something to happen. Or it can take someone saying to you, I think you'd be really good as a nurse, or I've done that. Honestly, I've had people say, I think you'd be really good at marketing. I thought, and I was really young, I had nothing else to do, right, I'll try that. But it takes, very young. You know what I mean? It doesn't, and that power, the power of thought and the power of suggestion and that power of connection, I mean, it can be life-changing. It makes you veer off on a path that you don't quite know where it is. Even just going on holiday, or my son travelling, whether he stays in Australia or comes back from Australia, they're all sliding door moments, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
You have to look at it. Well, I said to Jasper, there's a lesson in everything.
There is.
It's seeing it for what it is.
Yeah. But if you have to be aware enough that you get that, there's lots of people would still be crying on the floor because they've been so done wrong by it.
Well, I feel a bit frustrated, and he's not like that with Gordy, that I think his pain has come for a reason. And I think if he trusted more, I mean, he copes with the pain amazingly, and the fact that he still works and all of that. But I think if he connected more and trusted more, he would be led in the direction where he was meant to go with this. Yeah. And he doesn't. He's stubborn and human and ego-led, as like a man, and does it his way.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, because I think actually there is a better thing to come from this, and you're not allowing that to happen.
And Carl was the only man I know that has been led by whatever's leading him, because he hasn't got any idea where he's going. He owns nothing. I know he's got a job to do, and I know in his way he'll find it. He won't need me to help find him for it, and that's the right way to be.
But as a society, we are, by the nature of the people that govern us and the people who have the power / control, it's about money, it's about what you own. I mean, that's all ego. It's all materialistic. And that voice is so loud, and sadly, currently, the voice of connection and trust and belonging and compassion isn't loud enough.
No.
And if we all sat in that lighter space, think of us all being guided, whether it be by fellow man or by source or spirit.
Yeah.
It's just it's just louder.
It's like flicking a switch. It's where you want to be with it.
What is it? Your intention goes where your energy flows.
Yeah.
It's what you focus on. You and I, neither of us watch the news.
No.
We're too focused on this.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. I haven't got time to deal with that. I don't want to get involved with that. I need to do this work. And it'd be really easy to sit in the worry and the fear and the drama of it all.
Lady left here and she hadn't been touched for all those months. And she said something. I went, well, I'm not in that world. I don't know about that world. And it's true, I don't know about that world. I don't want to know about that world.
But it's allowing that loud narrative. It's about how much control that has on your life. I think people can still listen to it and respect it, but actually it doesn't have to be their only narrative. You can still, I know what's going on, but I choose not to energetically engage in it. I choose this work because I'm busier with this and it's more important. And I can see that this has more benefit for me as a person, and I think it has more benefit for mankind long term. Whereas me sitting and worrying and feeling that my power is taken away serves no one. You know, I've dipped into that. You know, I have a couple of times this year, and I end up going, well, what is the point of doing that? Because I feel shit. I'm, you know, but I'm just not good for anything.
No.
So there's no point. There's no value in that for me.
There isn't. There's no value in listening to somebody else preaching to us. Mind you, this sounds a bit like preaching, I suppose, but to preach to us about living.
Well, I like to think it's more empowering than preaching. Everyone has a choice.
Yeah.
And you can still be a responsible member of a responsible and thoughtful and compassionate member of society without having that be your everything. And actually, I suppose that leads me to think, actually, we can be our own guides.
Yeah, we can. And maybe that's when the guide steps in, when you start being your own guide.
When you have that autonomy.
Yeah.
When you start to own your power.
Yeah. Let's ask. Does the guide step in when you realise the next part of the journey? Yeah.
So when we step into our own power.
Yeah. I just got this feeling, because I just said, if you could only see, this room's full. So the feeling I got from that was, they can't be all our own guides. And is that right? Are they our guides? No. Are these spirit helpers and guides that just pop in to look, to see what's going on? Yeah, that's the.
Are they drawn by our energy?
Yeah. Are they drawn by the light? By the light. Are they drawn by the subject? No. Are they interested in what goes on? They're interested. So can they add to anything we do? I got the word bystanders. So could these be guides that are training? Okay. So what we do in the temple path and what we do in here is we're teaching humans and guides. Oh.
Well, we're creating a platform for learning.
Yeah.
So without having the conversation.
We're creating. Oh my goodness. So, is this room full then? So yes.
That's why the dog had to leave.
Is there angels here tonight? Is Michael here? I was told no earlier, actually, wasn't he? Raphael.
I think he comes with me, doesn't he?
Chopel, Samuel, Samuel, Gabriel, Uriel. Oh, is there more?
Lady Nada?
Yeah. The other one is Zakiel. I heard it, but yeah, he's in. It's the Barclay. So.
And did they bring the training guides? Did they bring the training guides to us?
Yeah. When there's a healing session, do you bring training guides then? Is that why that picture looks so busy? Okay.
And the healing guides they're bringing, are they spirit? Are they people who've walked the earth before?
Are they people that have walked the earth before?
No.
Are they just healing guides? So when we do this work, is Einstein here? Yeah. I just got given the name. Because I wanted to say when we do the mind work like this, because to me it's, mindful, isn't it? It's mind. So is Einstein one of my guides now? I know it's because that day when I saw him in that room. So is this about energy? I just can't. He's interested in the energy. Is that right? The frequency is really high in here. I just felt it in my ear. Is that a healing frequency?
And is that, are we creating that frequency by having the conversation, or because they're here?
Is it because of our conversation? Is it our energy? Is it the collective's? Is the collective's energy?
So we're having the conversation, they're curious, they bring them to train, that's a bit I'm not quite sure about, but by being here, their collective energy raises the vibration.
Yeah.
So what are we teaching them?
Can you tell us the reason the trainees are here? Can you tell us? It's sort of the same as on the, they're talking about the F-plane. Before you go for a job, you have to have some sort of credentials or an apprenticeship. Is this their apprenticeship? Come and join in sessions like this. Okay, the other thing I want to know then is when I came in here this morning and it was so obvious I had to do the oracle card reading, was that you putting that idea in my head for the training?
And then, so when you're doing the reading for the training and you're picking up on the collective energy and spirit's take on it, is that the trainee guys giving you that? No.
No, they're watching. They're watching how it works. Oh my God, this is getting deep, isn't it? I just asked, do you find this fascinating? Oh, but yes. No. So the way we work is fascinating to you. Are we puppets on a string? No. Okay, that's good. I just we know what's good for you. Oh, there's getting a bit deep, isn't it?
So when we do meditation on a Thursday, do the trainees come in then as well?
Did you hear that? Do the trainees come in Thursday night? Is this room packed that night? Yeah.
And the fact that we're doing it on Zoom makes no difference to them?
I don't think so. No. So, have you got anything to say about the meditation group? Okay. I just got that this is all new to them and they need nurturing.
The guides?
No.
Oh, sorry.
The people on the temple.
Sorry. This is all new to them and they need nurturing.
Yeah. Are they worried about the meditations? No. Are they feeling emotional? That's what come through there, won't it? Is there any way that we can help with that? Do they have to go through the emotion? And I've just got soul growth isn't easy. It can be daunting.
So when you're talking about guide, when you're doing this, when you're dowsing and you're asking questions and answering, who's answering you?
Can you tell me who's answering me? Is it different ones all the time? I thought it was.
Okay, so it's part of the a collective.
Is it the collective of the angels? A collective of ascended masters?
Was that a yes to both?
Yeah. And Stu, where do you come on that? You're still an ascended master? Yeah, he's still.
Because that's part of the how do you work?
Still, have you only just turned up? I only just felt him and heard that. Yeah, he's only just turned up. So do you answer these questions sometimes? Yeah. So individually, do you answer these questions? No. Is it as a collective?
Because we have got in the book about, I can't get it out now, about the dowsing and stuff. And sometimes I think, who am I asking? Am I asking angels? Am I asking my higher self? Am I asking a guide? And I wonder if it's the same for all of us with dowsing, whether it is just tapping into the collective.
Is it the same for everyone? So, I think it's a human thing, seeing an angel as a person, and we need a name to call it that. But you think they're just energy.
Well, kind of what I was saying earlier, it's a kind of the inverted commas, the corporate message.
Yeah.
They're all speaking, they're all representing Source.
Yeah.
And Source has many levels of energy and vibration within that, of which, when I was reading the other day, the angels are quite low down in that.
Yeah, they are. They're probably more earth-based anyway, because even the ascending masters are higher than the angels. I don't know about the archangels, though. Are the archangels higher than ascended masters?
No, I think we covered this when we did Stuart.
Yeah, I think we did. So as a collective, you can answer the question. And you all come to the same agreement.
Which I presume is for the highest good.
Yeah. Is it for everybody's highest good? So when I ask who's here, and some are not, does that mean they have another job to do? No. Do you find these sessions important? Do you find them educating? Do you find them useful?
It's quite humbling, isn't it?
Yes.
Little old us.
Well, don't take me down that road.
Okay, sorry. So I'm just going to go back, because I know this is about guides, so I'm going to keep dragging it back. I'm trying to look at my notes. They try and guide you to a better place. So one presumes that whether our guides are earthly guides or spirit guides, it's about being in a better place, and then one presumes for the highest good. Does everything come back to the highest good?
Does everything come back to the highest good?
And is that the highest good of man, of earth, or the highest good of the collective? Or are they one and the same?
Is it for the highest good of man? That's a yes. Is it for the universe? For the earth plane? Is it for their soul growth? And does it change anything for the collective? No. It doesn't change for them. It just changes for us. Which is coming back to that, coming to earth is for our soul growth.
But then, if we grow as a soul and we go back home, surely as our soul advances, does that not have an impact on the collective? Or are we not part of the collective?
I saw it as when they was on earth then.
Right.
When you go back, it's exactly the same sort of channels. There's universities, there's schools, there's everything the same there. So you carry on your learning when you go back. So you would have already reached a level if you've worked on it. That's the way I've always thought it. If you've worked on the stuff, maybe there's not so much to work on when you go back.
Maybe we've gone up a class.
Yeah. It probably does go in tiers. Like they are tiers. We see them. If we say there's the archangels, or the angels are more earth-based than the archangels, then there's ascended masters. They've all had to come on earth and go through that. Well, a lot of them haven't. No. Loads of angels haven't lived on earth. That must have been a choice somewhere along the line, that they never came to earth. I don't know why that is. So I think we'll pick up on that another day. But as far as I know, there's tiers of when they go back. I think because Stuart was an ascended master when he came here, that's why I was surprised he said yes, he still was, but he could still be in training to go on to do something else. because every time I see him, he looks different now. What have you got that sword with you today, Stuart? So he still looks like the man I saw with the sword. Are you still in training? Yeah. So I don't think that changes. I think it's for us to grow and learn for the soul when we're in.
Thank you so much for listening to the Hera Hotspot podcast. I hope you enjoyed our chat. Until next time, take care.